Chicago Bulls. The Chicago Bulls are an American professional basketball team based in Chicago. The Bulls compete in the National Basketball Association, NBA, as a member of the league's Eastern Conference Central Division. The team was founded on January 16, 1966, and played its first game during the 1966-67 NBA season. The Bulls play their home games at the United Center, an arena on Chicago's west side. The Bulls saw their greatest success during the 1990s when they played a major part in popularizing the NBA worldwide. They are known for having one of the NBA's greatest dynasties, winning 6 NBA championships between 1991 and 1998 with 2 three-peats. All 6 of their championship teams were led by Hall of Famers Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and coach Phil Jackson. The Bulls are the only NBA franchise to win multiple championships while never losing an NBA Finals series in their history. The Bulls won 72 games during the 1995-96 season, setting an NBA record that stood until the Golden State Warriors won 73 games during the 2015-16 season. The Bulls were the first team in NBA history to win 70 games or more in a single season, and the only NBA franchise to do so until the 2015-16 Warriors. Since 1998, the Bulls have failed to regain their former success. The franchise struggled throughout the 2000s, but showed promise in the early 2010s, led by Derrick Rose and Joakim Noah, culminating in back-to-back seasons above .732 in 2010-11 and 2011-12. However, due to injuries to and departures of key players, the franchise was never able to build on that success and has sunk back into mediocrity since. Jordan and Rose have both won the NBA Most Valuable Player award while playing for the Bulls, for a total of 6 MVP awards. The Bulls share rivalries with the Cleveland Cavaliers, Detroit Pistons, Miami Heat, and the New York Knicks. The Bulls' rivalry with the Pistons was highlighted heavily during the late 1980s and early 1990s. Outside of basketball, the Chicago Bulls are also known for their community work through their charity department, which provides youth and non-for-profit organizations with tickets to games and merchandise. Franchise history: 1966 to 1975, team creation and early success. On January 16, 1966, Chicago was granted an NBA franchise to be called the Bulls. The Chicago Bulls became the third NBA franchise in the city, after the Chicago Stags, 1946 to 1950, and the Chicago Packers/Zephyrs, 1961 to 1963, now the Washington Wizards. The Bulls' founder, Dick Klein, was the Bulls' only owner to ever play professional basketball, for the Chicago American Gears. He served as the Bulls' president and general manager in their initial years. After the 1966 NBA expansion draft, the newly founded Chicago Bulls were allowed to acquire players from the previously established teams in the league for the upcoming 1966-67 season. The team started during the 1966-67 season, and posted a 33-48 record, the best by an expansion team in NBA history. Coached by Chicagoan and former NBA star Johnny Red Kerr, and led by former NBA assist leader Guy Rodgers, guard Jerry Sloan and forward Bob Boozer, the Bulls qualified for the playoffs, the only NBA team to do so in their inaugural season. The 1969-70 Chicago Bulls. In their first season, the Bulls played their home games at the International Amphitheater, before moving to Chicago Stadium. Fan interest was diminishing after 4 seasons, with one game in the 1967-68 season having an official attendance of 891 and some games being played in Kansas City. In 1969, Klein dropped out of the general manager job and hired Pat Williams, who as the Philadelphia 76ers business manager created promotions that helped the team become third in attendance the previous season. Williams revamped the team roster, acquiring Chet Walker from Philadelphia in exchange for Jim Washington and drafting Norm Van Lier, who was traded to the Cincinnati Royals and only joined the Bulls in 1971, while also investing in promotion, with actions such as creating mascot Benny the Bull. The Bulls under Williams and head coach Dick Moda qualified for 4 straight playoffs and had attendances grow to over 10,000. In 1972, the Bulls set a franchise win-loss record at 57 wins and 25 losses. During the 1970s, the Bulls relied on Jerry Sloan, forwards Bob Love and Chet Walker, point guard Norm Van Lier, and centers Clifford Ray and Tom Boerwinkle. The team made the conference finals in 1975 but lost to the eventual champions, the Golden State Warriors, 4-3. After 4 50-win seasons, Williams returned to Philadelphia, and Mota decided to take on the role of GM as well. The Bulls ended up declining, winning only 24 games in the 1975-76 season. Mota was fired and replaced by Ed Badger. 1976 to 1984, Gilmore and Hughes duo. This section does not cite any sources. Please help improve this section by adding citations to reliable sources. Unsourced material may be challenged and removed. February 2022, learn how and when to remove this template message. Gilmore in 1977. Klein sold the Bulls to the Wirtz family, longtime owners of the Chicago Blackhawks. Indifferent to NBA basketball, the new ownership group infamously implemented a shoestring budget, putting little time and investment into improving the team. Artis Gilmore, acquired in the ABA dispersal draft in 1976, led a Bulls squad which included guard Reggie Hughes, forward David Greenwood and forward Orlando Woolridge. In 1979, the Bulls lost a coin flip for the right to select first in the NBA draft. Rod Thorne, the Bulls general manager, called heads. Had the Bulls won the toss, they would have selected Magic Johnson. Instead, they selected David Greenwood with the second pick. The Los Angeles Lakers selected Johnson with the pick acquired from the New Orleans Jazz, who traded the selection for Gail Goodrich. After Gilmore was traded to the San Antonio Spurs for center Dave Curzini, the Bulls employed a high-powered offense centered around Hughes, and which soon included guards Quinton Daly and Ennis Watley. However, with continued dismal results, the Bulls decided to change direction, trading Hughes to the Kansas City Kings during the 1983-84 season. Attendance began to dwindle, with the Wirtz family looking to sell to ownership groups interested in moving the team out of Chicago, before selling to local ownership. 1984 to 1993, Michael Jordan era begins. Michael Jordan was drafted 3rd overall by the Bulls in 1984. He won 6 championships and 6 Finals MVPs for Chicago. In the summer of 1984, the Bulls had the 3rd pick of the 1984 NBA draft, after Houston and Portland. The Rockets selected Hakeem Olajuwon, the Blazers picked Sam Bowie and the Bulls chose shooting guard Michael Jordan. The team, with new management and owner Jerry Reinsdorf and general manager Jerry Krause, decided to rebuild around Jordan. Jordan set franchise records during his rookie campaign for scoring, 3rd in the league, and steals, 4th, and led the Bulls back to the playoffs, where they lost in 4 games to the Milwaukee Bucks. For his efforts, he was rewarded with a selection to the All-NBA Second Team and the NBA Rookie of the Year award. In the following offseason, the team acquired point guard John Paxson and on draft day traded with the Cavaliers for the rights to power forward Charles Oakley. Along with Jordan and center Dave Curzini, they provided much of the Bulls' offense for the next 2 years. After suffering a broken foot early in the 1985-86 season, Jordan finished second on the team to Woolridge in scoring. Jordan returned for the playoffs, and led the 8th place Bulls against the 67-15 Boston Celtics, led by Larry Bird. At the time, the Bulls had the 5th worst record of any team to qualify for the playoffs in NBA history. Though the Bulls were swept, Jordan recorded a playoff single-game record 63 points in Game 2, which still stands to this day, prompting Bird to call him God disguised as Michael Jordan. In the 1986-87 season, Jordan continued his assault on the record books, leading the league in scoring with 37.1 points per game and becoming the first Bull named to the All-NBA First Team. The Bulls finished 40-42, which was good enough to qualify them for the playoffs. However, they were again swept by the Celtics in the playoffs. In the 1987 draft, to address their lack of depth, Krause selected center Olden Polinis 8th overall and power forward Horace Grant 10th overall, then sent Polinis to Seattle in a draft day trade for the 5th selection, small forward Scottie Pippen. With Paxson and Jordan in the backcourt, Brad Sellers and Oakley at the forward spots, Curzini anchoring center, and rookies Pippen and Grant coming off the bench, the Bulls won 50 games and advanced to the Eastern Conference semifinals, where they were beaten by the eventual Eastern Conference champions Detroit Pistons in 5 games. For his efforts, Jordan was named NBA Most Valuable Player, an award he would win 4 more times over his career. The 1987-88 season would also mark the start of the Pistons-Bulls rivalry, which was formed from 1988 to 1991. The 1988-89 season marked a second straight year of major off-season moves. Power forward Charles Oakley, who had led the league in total rebounds in both 1987 and 1988, was traded on the eve of the 1988 NBA draft to the New York Knicks along with a first-round draft pick used by the Knicks to select Rod Strickland for center Bill Cartwright and a first-round pick, which the Bulls used to obtain center Will Perdue. In addition, the Bulls acquired three-point shooter Craig Hodges from Phoenix. The new starting lineup of Paxson, Jordan, Pippen, Grant, and Cartwright took some time to mesh, winning fewer games than the previous season, but made it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, where they were defeated in 6 games by the NBA champion Pistons. In 1989-90, Jordan led the league in scoring for the 4th straight season and was joined on the All-Star squad for the first time by Pippen. There was also a major change during the off-season, where head coach Doug Collins was replaced by assistant coach Phil Jackson. The Bulls also picked up rookie center Stacey King and rookie point guard B.J. Armstrong in the 1989 draft. With these additional players and the previous year's starting 5, the Bulls again made it to the conference finals and pushed the Pistons to 7 games before being eliminated for the 3rd straight year, the Pistons going on to repeat as NBA champions. 1990-1993, first championship three-peat. Michael Jordan v. Los Angeles Lakers at the 1991 NBA Finals. In the 1990-91 season, the Bulls recorded a then-franchise record 61 wins, and romped through the playoffs, where they swept the Knicks in the first round, defeated the Philadelphia 76ers in the semifinals, and then swept the defending champion Pistons in the conference finals, then winning the NBA Finals in 5 games over the Magic Johnson-led Los Angeles Lakers. The Bulls won their 2nd straight title in 1992 after racking up another franchise record for wins with 67. They swept the Miami Heat in the first round, defeated the Knicks in 7 games in the second round, then the Cleveland Cavaliers in 6 games in the third round, advancing to the finals for the 2nd year in a row where they defeated the Clyde Drexler-led Portland Trail Blazers in 6 games. In 1993, the Bulls won their 3rd consecutive championship by defeating the Atlanta Hawks, Cleveland Cavaliers and New York Knicks in the first 3 rounds of the playoffs and then defeating regular season MVP Charles Barkley and the Phoenix Suns in the finals, with Paxson's three-pointer with 3.9 seconds left giving them a 99-98 victory in Game 6 in Phoenix. 1993-1995, Jordan's first retirement. This section does not cite any sources. Please help improve this section by adding citations to reliable sources. Unsourced material may be challenged and removed. February 2022, learn how and when to remove this template message United Center. On October 6, 1993, Michael Jordan shocked the basketball community by announcing his retirement, 3 months after his father's murder. The Bulls were then led by Scottie Pippen, who established himself as one of the top players in the league by winning the 1994 All-Star MVP. He received help from Horace Grant and B.J. Armstrong, who were named to their first All-Star games. The 3 were assisted by Cartwright, Perdue, shooting guard Pete Myers, and Croatian rookie forward Toni Kukoc. Despite the Bulls winning 55 games during the 1993-94 season, they were beaten in 7 games by the Knicks in the second round of the playoffs, after a controversial foul call by referee Hugh Hollins in Game 5 of that series. The Knicks eventually reached the NBA Finals that year, but lost to the Houston Rockets. The Bulls opened the 1994-95 season by leaving their home of 27 years, Chicago Stadium, and moving into their current home, the United Center. In 1994, the Bulls lost Grant, Cartwright and Scott Williams to free agency, and John Paxson to retirement, but picked up shooting guard Ron Harper, the seeming heir apparent to Jordan and assistant coach Tex Winter's triple post defense, and small forward Judd Buechler. The Bulls started Armstrong and Harper in the backcourt, Pippen and Kukoc at the forward spots, and Perdue at center. They also had sharpshooter Steve Kerr, whom they acquired via free agency before the 1993-94 season, Myers, and centers Luke Longley, acquired via trade in 1994 from the Minnesota Timberwolves, and Bill Winnington. However, the Bulls struggled during the season, and on March 18, 1995, they received the news that Michael Jordan was coming out of retirement. He scored 55 points against the Knicks in only his fifth game back, and led the Bulls to the fifth seed in the playoffs, where they defeated the Charlotte Hornets. However, Jordan and the Bulls were unable to overcome the eventual Eastern Conference champion Orlando Magic, which included Horace Grant, Anthony Hardaway, and Shaquille O'Neal. In the offseason, the Bulls lost Armstrong in the expansion draft, and Krause traded Purdue to the San Antonio Spurs for rebounding specialist Dennis Rodman, who had won the past 4 rebounding titles, and who had also been a member of the Detroit Pistons' Bad Boys squad that served as the Bulls' chief nemesis in the late 1980s. 1995 to 1998, return of Michael Jordan and second championship three-peat. Michael Jordan. Scottie Pippen. With a lineup of Jordan, Pippen, Rodman, Harper, and Longley, and perhaps the league's best bench in Steve Kerr, Kukoc, Winnington, Buechler, and guard Randy Brown, the Bulls were seen as the team to win again for the NBA Finals. The Bulls started their 1995-96 campaign with a 105-91 win over the visiting Hornets. In that game, Michael Jordan recorded 42 points, 6 rebounds and 7 assists for the Bulls. The next game, they were up against the Boston Celtics. The Bulls scored 35 points in the third quarter as they pull away against the Celtics, 107-85. 6 Bulls players scored in double figures in this win. The 1995-96 Bulls posted one of the best single-season improvements in league history and the best single-season record at that time, moving from 47 to 35 to 72 to 10, becoming the first NBA team to win 70 or more games. Jordan won his 8th scoring title, and Rodman his 5th straight rebounding title, while Kerr finished second in the league in three-point shooting percentage. Jordan garnered the elusive Triple Crown with the NBA MVP, NBA All-Star Game MVP, and NBA Finals MVP. Krause was named NBA Executive of the Year, Jackson Coach of the Year, and Kukoc the Sixth Man of the Year. Both Pippen and Jordan made the All-NBA First Team, and Jordan, Pippen, and Rodman made the All-Defensive First Team, making the Bulls one of several teams in NBA history with 3 players on the All-Defensive First Team. File President Clinton and the Chicago Bulls, 1997. WebM? President Bill Clinton honoring the Chicago Bulls in 1997. In addition, the 1995-96 team holds several other records, including the best road record in a standard 41 road game season, 33-8, the all-time best start by a team, 41-3, and the best start at home, 37-0. The Bulls also posted the second best home record in history, 39-2, behind only the 1985-86 Celtics 40-1 home mark. The team triumphed over the Miami Heat in the first round, the New York Knicks in the second round, the Orlando Magic in the Eastern Conference Finals and finally Gary Payton, Shawn Kemp and the Seattle Supersonics for their 4th title. The 1995-96 Chicago Bulls are widely regarded as one of the greatest teams in the history of basketball. Bulls head coach Phil Jackson consulting Michael Jordan in 1997. In the 1996-97 season, the Bulls missed out on a second consecutive 70-win season by losing their final 2 games to finish 69-13. They repeated their home dominance, going 39-2 at the United Center. The Bulls capped the season by defeating the Bullets, Hawks and Heat in the first 3 rounds of the playoffs en route to winning their 5th NBA championship over John Stockton, Karl Malone and the Utah Jazz. Jordan earned his 2nd straight and 9th career scoring title, while Rodman earned his 6th straight rebounding title. Jordan and Pippen, along with Robert Parrish, who was a member of the Bulls at the time, were also honored as members of the 50 greatest players of all time with the NBA celebrating its 50th season. Parrish, whose single season with the Bulls would be his last year in the league, was nominated for his stellar career with the Boston Celtics. The 1997-98 season was one of turmoil for the NBA champion Bulls. Many speculated this would be Michael Jordan's final season with the team. Phil Jackson's future with the team was also questionable, as his relationship with team general manager Jerry Krause was one of growing tension. Scottie Pippen was looking for a significant contract extension that he thought he deserved, but was not getting from the organization. In spite of the turmoil that surrounded the Bulls, they still had a remarkable season, with a final regular season record of 62-20. Jordan would be named the league MVP for the 5th and final time, and the Bulls went into the playoffs as the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. The first round of the playoffs for the Bulls was against the New Jersey Nets, a team led by Keith Van Horn, Kendall Gill, and Sam Cassell. The Bulls swept the Nets 3-0 in a best-of-5 series. The conference semifinals were more challenging, with the Charlotte Hornets stealing Game 2 from the Bulls at the United Center, and tying the series 1-1. But the Bulls easily defeated the Hornets in the next 3 games of the series. The conference finals was a challenge for the Bulls as they went up against the Reggie Miller-led Indiana Pacers. Experts were of the opinion that the Pacers had the best chance to defeat the Bulls. The Pacers gave the Bulls no road wins, winning games 3, 4, and 6, sending the series to a deciding Game 7 at the United Center. The Bulls prevailed and beat the Pacers 88-83, winning their 6th Eastern Conference championship. In a much-anticipated finals, the Bulls faced the team they beat the previous year, the Utah Jazz. Led by Karl Malone and John Stockton, the Jazz felt confident that they could defeat the Bulls, winning Game 1 at Utah's Delta Center. Facing a potential 2-0 deficit, the Bulls won Game 2 at the Delta Center and tied the series. The Bulls returned to the United Center and, by winning the next 2 games, took a 3-1 series lead. The Jazz won Game 5 by 2 points, 83-81. Game 6 was a tough battle for both teams. Scottie Pippen left early in the first quarter due to an ongoing back injury. He came back at the start of the second half, and after a trip or 2 to the locker room to get physical therapy, came back out to finish the game. Late in the game and down by 3 points to the Jazz, Michael Jordan led the Bulls to one final win. Jordan hit a shot to bring the Bulls within 1, then stole the ball from Karl Malone and hit the game-winning shot with 5.2 seconds remaining on the clock. With a score of 87-86, John Stockton put up a 3-pointer, but missed, giving the Bulls their 6th championship in 8 years. Jordan would be named the Finals MVP for the 6th time in his career. He retired for the 2nd time on January 13, 1999. 1998-2008, post-Jordan era and a decade of struggle. 1998-2004, post-dynasty struggles. The summer of 1998 brought an abrupt end to the championship era. Krause felt that the Bulls were on the verge of being too old and unable to compete. He decided that the team's only choices were to rebuild or endure a slow decline. His plan was to trade away the aging talent and acquire high draft picks while clearing salary cap space to make a run at several promising free agents in 2 years' time. After having been vetoed in a previous attempt by owner Jerry Reinsdorf, Krause traded Scottie Pippen for Roy Rogers, who was released in February 1999, and a conditional second-round draft pick from the Houston Rockets. He also decided not to re-sign Dennis Rodman, and traded Luke Longley and Steve Kerr for other draft picks. He hired a new coach, Tim Floyd, who had run a successful program at Iowa State University. Upon Phil Jackson's departure, Michael Jordan made his second retirement official. With a new starting lineup of point guard Randy Brown, shooting guard Ron Harper, newcomer Brent Barry at small forward, power forward Tony Kukoc, and center Bill Winnington, the team began the lockout-shortened 1998-99 season. Kukoc led the team in scoring, rebounding, and assists, but the team won only 13 of 50 games. The lowest point of the season came on April 10 in a game against the Miami Heat. In that game, the Bulls scored 49 points to set an NBA record for the fewest points in a game in the shot clock era. The previous year's dismal finish came with one highlight: the team won the draft lottery and the rights to power forward Elton Brand. Since the team lost Harper, Winnington and Barry in the offseason,